Something was wrong, and everyone felt it. Before anyone spoke, the silence inside courtroom 3 of the Fairhaven County Courthouse wasn't ordinary. It was heavy, expectant. A storm was coming, and the walls knew it before the people did. Judge Eleanor Vance, known for her cold precision, sat behind the elevated bench, flipping through the morning's case files. Her gavel rested quietly nearby, but her mind wasn't on procedure. It was on the unsettling feeling crawling beneath her skin. Out in the hall, Officer Samuel Reyes stood near the door, arms crossed. He'd been a cop for 25 years, and his gut rarely failed him. Today it screamed, something's coming. He scanned the flow of attorneys, clerks, and jittery defendants. Then he saw him, a black man in his 40s, clean-shaven, sharply dressed, but not flashy, stepped through the courthouse entrance. Calm, controlled, unfamiliar. Reyes's eyes narrowed. The man walked into courtroom 3 and took a seat at the back. No papers, no lawyer, no expression. Just quiet observation. Judge Vance noticed him too. Her eyes flicked up, brief but focused. She didn't recognize him either. The man pulled a small notebook from his coat and began to write. Officer Reyes shifted his stance, his hand moving subtly toward his weapon. He didn't know why, but he didn't like it. Then it happened. Mark Davis, a young and clumsy defense attorney, stumbled near the bench, spilling documents everywhere. The stranger stood, helped him gather the papers, and offered a calm smile. Reyes didn't relax. He stiffened. That calm, it wasn't right. He stepped forward, cutting across the aisle. "Sir," he said, voice sharp, "I need to see some ID." The man looked up, unshaken. "This is a public hearing. Do I need ID to watch?" Judge Vance tilted her head slightly. Her finger paused mid-turn on the docket. Tension crackled in the air. Reyes tightened his grip on his belt. "I'm asking nicely. Just show me who you are." The man stared at him, measured, unfazed. "And if I don't?" Before the moment could explode, the courtroom doors burst open. Attorney Julian Miller, usually composed, stumbled in, breathless and pale. His suit was wrinkled, his face soaked with sweat. "Judge," he gasped, "I need a word privately." "It's urgent." Vance, stunned by his desperation, ordered a recess and led him to her chambers. Inside, Miller collapsed into a chair. "They're going to kill me," he said. "I found something. Files. Fake ones. Dozens. They're framing innocent people. It goes high. If I testify, I'm dead." Vance's mouth went dry. Then another knock. Officer Reyes barged in without waiting. "Judge, I just got a call. That man in the courtroom, he's not who he says he is. He's telling the truth." Miller shouted. "Reyes is involved. He's part of it." Gunfire. The shot rang out like a thunderclap. Miller clutched his chest, red blooming through his shirt. He fell forward, lifeless, onto the Persian rug. Vance screamed. Reyes stood over the body, gun in hand. "He knew too much," Reyes said, eyes cold. "Now you do too." Before he could fire again, the courtroom doors exploded open. The stranger charged in, tackling Reyes to the ground. The gun slid across the floor. Judge Vance dug beneath her desk and slammed the panic button. Alarms blared throughout the building. Deputies burst into the chambers, guns drawn. The stranger retrieved the weapon and pointed it at Reyes's head. Vance cried out, "Don't do it! Don't become like him!" The stranger stood, breathing hard, finger on the trigger. His hands trembled. He closed his eyes, then dropped the gun. "He's not worth it," he muttered. Reyes lunged, but deputies pinned him down. He screamed obscenities as they cuffed him and dragged him out. Judge Vance, still shaking, looked up at the stranger. "You saved my life," she said quietly. He nodded once. "You never said your name." But before he could speak, his phone buzzed. He looked at it. His expression darkened. Without a word, he turned and walked toward the door. "Where are you going?" Vance called after him. The man stopped, then quietly, "Back to finish what I started." He disappeared through the doorway, leaving behind a courtroom soaked in fear, blood, and unanswered questions. The wind howled outside the Fairhaven County Courthouse, but inside, silence reigned once again. This time it was colder. Hours had passed since the shooting, but the memory clung to the walls like smoke. Blood had been scrubbed from the rug in Judge Vance's chambers, but remained to her mind, vivid and pulsing. She hadn't left the building. She couldn't. Not until she knew who that man was and what he had come to do. "Ma'am," Deputy Carlos Ortiz called gently, "we've searched the building. The man is gone." Judge Vance stared at the empty hallway. "Gone where?" "We don't know. Security cams were disabled on the 3rd floor for 10 minutes. Somebody did that on purpose. Somebody." That word repeated in her mind. Somebody with access. Somebody with skills. Somebody who'd risked his life to stop a crooked cop and then vanished into the wind. Jessica Lane, the young reporter who had filmed everything, approached from the shadows. Her camera was still rolling. "Judge Vance," she said, "you need to see this." She held up the footage. Reyes's threats, Miller's warning, the stranger's intervention, and then something else. A freeze frame of the stranger's face. "I ran this through facial recognition," Jessica whispered. "His name is Elias Thorne, former military intelligence. Vanished 2 years ago during an investigation into federal corruption. Declared dead." Vance's eyes widened. Why would a dead man come here? Jessica hesitated. To finish something? Vance sat down slowly, breath shallow. What did Julian Miller discover? Jessica pulled out a thin USB stick. "Before he died, he sent this to me anonymously. I didn't open it right away. I thought it was a tip, but it's bigger than that." She plugged it into her laptop. A hidden folder opened. Hundreds of case files. Dozens of photos. Fabricated evidence. Falsified arrests. The same names appeared again and again. Judges, officers, prosecutors. And Reyes was on almost every page. But at the center of it all was a single redacted file, labeled Thorne C2R or Black Site. Jessica clicked. "Try Vance," the judge whispered. "Access granted." The file revealed a classified operation known as C2R, Clean to Rot, an off-the-books unit tasked with eliminating legal threats to national interests. Elias Thorne had been recruited, then betrayed when he refused to continue. They tried to silence him. They failed. Jessica's hand trembled as she scrolled. "He's not just cleaning up the system," she said. "He's exposing it." Outside, a screech of tires cut through the air. A dark SUV pulled into the courthouse lot. 3 men in black suits stepped out, earpieces in place, government-issued, unmarked. "They're here," Vance muttered. "They know Thorne's alive." Just then, a message popped up on Jessica's screen. From ET. Subject: "If you're reading this, they'll come for you too. Upload the files. Tell the truth. But know this, not everyone in this building is who they claim to be. Trust no one." A loud knock shattered the tension. Deputy Ortiz rushed in, out of breath. "Judge, Jessica, the feds want to speak with you now." Vance glanced at Jessica. "You trust me?" Jessica nodded. Vance closed the laptop. "Then follow my lead." They stepped into the hallway. The 3 agents were already inside. "Judge Vance," one said, flashing a badge that didn't have a name. "We need to confiscate all media related to this morning's incident." Jessica stepped forward. "I'm a journalist." "You can't." "Yes, we can," the agent snapped. "National security." But Judge Vance raised a hand. "This is now part of an active judicial investigation," she said firmly. "You have no jurisdiction over a sitting judge's chambers without a federal warrant." The agents exchanged glances. The tension mounted. Then a voice echoed down the hallway. "I suggest you back off." Everyone turned. Elias Thorne stood at the end of the corridor, hands raised, eyes steady. A camera was strapped to his chest, streaming live. "To anyone watching," he said calmly, "my name is Elias Thorne. I was a soldier, then a ghost. Now I'm just a citizen who wants justice." The agents reached for their weapons, but they were too late. Dozens of red laser dots appeared on their chests from hidden snipers above. "Don't," Thorne warned. "This building is being watched. If I disappear again, the footage goes global." The agents froze. Thorne walked forward and stopped in front of Judge Vance. "You have everything you need now." He turned to Jessica. "And you know what to do." Jessica swallowed. "You're not staying?" Thorne's eyes were distant. "I've got one more name to cross off." Then he was gone. The agents retreated in silence. Judge Vance turned to Jessica. "Upload everything." Tonight. Jessica nodded, tears in her eyes. That night, the files went live, and by morning, the country was on edge.